Welcome to another Carlo and Lade Sports Show. I'm Robert Laidlaw.
And I'm Sean Carlo.
Yeah, mate, we've got an interesting guest today. We've got Will Ryder, who's the head women's basketball coach at the Gillette Junior College in Wyoming, USA. Good day, Will. How you going, mate?
Oh, fantastic. Thanks for having me on today.
Welcome, Coach Ryder. In America, you say coach. It's like Coach Simpson here, and that's Coach Ryder.
So we're broadcasting from New York at the moment. How are you?
Well, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
Now, just quickly, just give us a quick look at your basketball career, what you started from, and how you got into coaching.
Well, I've been an athlete my whole life, and then I kind of, my skills kind of directed me more towards the game of basketball than the other sports. And although I've enjoyed all sports, but basketball is where I kind of found my niche, and I followed that as a playing career. I played 4 years in college and university, and then had the opportunity to get a degree in education and stay in a position to be able to begin coaching. And so I started my coaching career way back in 1978 or 79 years ago, and I've been coaching ever since. I'm closing in on 62 years old, and I still love getting up every day and going to the gym and working with young kids, and the opportunity that Ricky presented to me here at Starplex a year ago, and we had a great relationship and had a great few weeks of camp, and so he invited me back, and it's just been a great opportunity to build new friendships and to work with kids in the Australia. It's been great.
Yeah, Ricky Simpson, of course, started the Northern Region Sports Academy, which with the basketball side of things, and he's done a really good job.
Ricky has done a great job. It's your second year, as you said, and how have you found it coming back this second time?
Well, it's great, and the thing is, I kind of expected to see a few more people that I had practiced with or worked with last year, but there's only a handful that returned this year from a year ago, and those I recognize and remember. But the number of kids that just continue to come up in the program is just amazing, and there's some incredible talent here, both on the boys and the girls side. And of course, part of our distribution of sharing information is to share contacts and recruitments. So we're looking forward to maybe entertaining the thought of bringing a few of these players back to the United States on basketball scholarship in the future and get them to play in the America.
It's a great opportunity, the scholarships. I was doing a little bit of research because it seems that Australian basketball is like the flavour of, maybe not to say the month, but almost the year over in America, with players in the NBA and the WNBA. Is there much talk about Australian players in the US, and is there something special about the Australian players that US coaches are looking for?
Well, I can't speak for all the coaches there, but across the board internationally, basketball is becoming much more popular. It used to be soccer was the international sport. The World Cup was huge, and that's where as basketball gets more and more popular across the globe, more and more players are emerging, and so the U.S. coaches now are beginning to realize that the international market is wide open, and the programs that have the money to be able to go out and seek these individuals and bring them back home and bring them to the program. We find that especially I've had a couple of Australian players on my team, got a number of New Zealand players on our team, and they seem to be very hardworking, very fundamentally sound skill-wise, and very respectful and willing to do whatever you ask. I mean, they're just solid individuals, and every coach wants that kind of a kid on their program. And so I think across the board, the international student athlete are those kind of kids that really want to be there for the right reasons, and they're willing to pay the price to do it.
I think the investment that the USA have done with basketball, having coaches and players over here for the last 30, 40 odd years, and it's become a two-way street now.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and we've got I just recruited a player out of Brisbane recently that's going to come and play for me this next season. And of course, some of the players right here in this camp that I'm working with this week in our elite camp, we're looking at and targeting for the future for recruitment in 2018, 2019.
So we've had, at the moment, last year we had 65 men playing in Div 1 college. We had over 70 girls playing in Div 1 college. Looking back, like we get a lot of talk here about the NBA, and obviously we've got 8 men playing in the NBA, but we've had over 32 women play in the WNBA, starting back with Michelle Timms back in 1998. So it is a great pathway for our kids, and I know a lot of the kids at Central Districts and other clubs in SA are looking to go to American college. Is it just about basketball? What advice would you give these young kids who they've seen other players go over, they know that it's a great opportunity? What other advice would you give them apart from their basketball? What else do they need to bring with them?
Well, for us and our program specifically, we tell them they're coming there for two reasons. They're coming not only to play basketball, but to develop, to begin their career and to get an education. And that's primarily, especially on the women's side. I think there's a few more opportunities on the men's side to either play professionally in the United States or abroad, across the, whether you're in Europe or whether in Australia. There's money to be made, outside the NBA. But on the women's side, the WNBA is a little bit, but some of the, whether it's a WNBL or some of the leagues around the country or around the world are not quite as financially sound as some of the men's programs. So, they need a career. They need to develop an educational baseline and a foundation to where when they get out, if something doesn't work out for them, now they've got a career that they can lean on and go into the field of the study of their choice.
I've noticed that a lot with Australian sport over the last 20 odd years, how they've developed that aspect of a career as a backup to sport. So that's one of the best things, and probably very encouraging for parents that have their young sports kids sort of go into sports because of the opportunities it has for a career.
Absolutely. And we had a forum on Monday night, and we spoke about different things, related to spacing and whatnot in elite sports. But yesterday we had a session with our elite kids, and we talked about some of the things that they need to do to prepare as far as core curriculum. Most of the programs in the country, in the United States, they're looking at grades 9 through 12, and their transcripts and their grades, their coursework up to that point for acceptance into major universities. So part of that is just preparing in advance, anticipating those opportunities, and then be ready for them when they come.
I was interested in if you could rank, what are the premium skills that a player needs? Again, I see a lot of young players come through, and we want to give them advice about what they really need to work on. If you were to give, in terms of what is the premium skill for basketball players? What is it that they really need to make it at the top?
There's all kinds of pauses. Players. Whether you're talking about short and quick, whether you're talking about tall and slender, whether you're talking about athleticism, there's lots of aspects to being a good basketball player. Obviously, the greatest athletes with the greatest skills are going to go to the highest levels. And so depending on what level they are for both their skills and their athleticism will determine whether they can go right to a Division I school like Duke or UCLA or someplace like that, or go to a smaller, maybe a community college to continue to develop their skills with the opportunity of maybe moving on to a bigger college at some time or a bigger university at another time. So every program is a little bit different. We like the lean athletic type that can pressure defend and get up and down the court. We like a fast-paced game. Obviously, with the shot clocks now, internationally it's always been there, but even in the United States they go to less and less time on the shot clock. So you've got to have players that can move and get up and down the floor well. And so those are the kinds of skills that we're always looking for. Athletic kids that can move, can go right or left, can shoot the ball, and those are the kids that most programs are looking for.
In watching the kids here at Starplex doing this particular clinic, what are some of the aspects that you've seen where you can almost have an immediate impact into improving their games?
Well, they're very coachable. These kids want to learn, and they want to see what they need to. Every day someone comes up and he says, "Coach, how can I improve my game? What have you seen that I need to have work on?" And so, these kids are anxious to learn. They're hungry. They want to get better, and that's the starting point right there. And as they do that and build on those skills, then it's going to put them in a higher position to maybe reach that skill level to get a scholarship at some point in time.
Away from basketball, has Coach Ricky looked after you while you've been here?
Oh, he's a great guy. Yeah, we've developed a great relationship over the years, and we've stayed in touch. We've shared a lot of information, a lot of strategies over the course of the year. Obviously I was here a year ago at this time, and we've only been able to stay in touch through internet, through phone calls and FaceTime and whatnot. But great man. I love him and KB, and of course Ricky and his family, Irene and Ramaya, the family. They're just wonderful folks, and I'm really pleased to be a part of this program and this family.
Well, that's really good, Will. Are you looking at coming next year?
Well, I'll probably have to come on my own dime next year. Ricky's been paying my way the last couple of years because we've had this reciprocal engagement, but I've developed such great friendships here that there's no doubt that I'll make a return trip at some point in the future. And, if it's next year, wonderful. If it's down the road from there, I look forward to that.
Well, thank you very much, Will. That concludes today's show. Hopefully we can get you on again next year. This is the end of Carlo and Lade Sports Show. I'm Robert Laidlaw.
And I'm still Sean Carlo.